Give me 1 sec. I'm taking my top off. It's too hot.
Ooh.
Oh, I didn't know it was that kind of podcast. Okay.
Ooh,
Okay.
la, 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 la.
Have you seen? There's there's
There we
loads
go.
of people have podcasts now. But have you seen those podcasts where it's like 2 guys and like 18 women, and then
Yeah, I've heard
the
of this.
guys
Yeah.
just talk all the time?
They get a bunch of women on that just really want clout for their own thing. So they're like,
Yeah.
oh, whatever, yeah, I'll go on. But then it's really shit because they bring them on deliberately just to like talk down to them and make some kind of weird point. I don't know. It's really
Yeah.
bizarre.
Yeah,
I've not seen any of this.
It's
What
really
kind of weird YouTube are you on?
it crops up on my YouTube shorts every couple
it's
days.
typically it's all like incel red pill shit.
Yeah.
My YouTube shorts have been a bit too gay recently. It's been like makeup, hair, and horse girls. So I'm like, nope. I'm trying to actively.
How did you get
Make it
How did you get to that point?
I don't know. I just don't know.
You clearly watched something at some point about hair, something
I
about
like
makeup.
I don't mind makeup and hair and stuff, and like I was like, oh, it's pretty interesting.
the
and then
panic.
it's like,
the
yeah.
panic in your voice.
horse girl. I mean, it's like girls like look at my horse, and I'm gonna breed this one to this there. And...
They're not like the horse girl anime.
No, not that. I wish I was on anime YouTube shorts, but I'm not there quite yet.
I'll just out myself right now. I've seen season 1 of that horse girl anime.
I saw the first episode of it.
I watched the first season. It's fucking weird, man.
Weeb.
There's so many different animes about here's like a normal thing. What if we just make them anime
Hold
girls?
up. Can I just explain this horse girl anime for a second
Yeah,
for
go on,
those
go on.
uneducated? So the horse girl anime is there's a world where it's humans, but they're also girls who have like horse ears and tails.
Yeah.
And they run in races like actual horses. There's no jockeys, they run in a thing. But the whole thing is they're racing for the honor to at the end sing in the lead in a concert.
It's so weird. It's so
I hate that. Why have you? I hate that. I know that now. Like, I think of all the useful things that might have pushed out of my head.
Can't remember Grandma's face, but I remember Musume, the horse
And
girl anime.
I don't know if the mobile game or the horse girl anime came first.
I think, like a lot of these things, I'm pretty sure the animes are made for the games to exist. Because, like, when you take, like, it's a horse girl mobile game with gacha. It's like, you take out the horse girls, it's basically just, like, horse racing gambling.
It's like, it's like all the old '90s cartoons that just existed to sell toys.
Literally, just existed in merchandise, yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes more sense.
I would love the realistic British cartoon version of the horse girl anime.
What would that even look like?
I don't. Probably a bit too scary.
Well, it's just like British like chavs running around on a racetrack, like tracksuit bottoms and.
All right.
Every character is voiced by our boy. What's his name?
Sean.
No.
Aston.
The guy from Diablo and Final Fantasy.
Oh, Ralph Ineson.
Ralph Ineson. Yeah.
Ralph Ineson.
Year of Ralph, 2023.
Yeah, he dubs over the voice, and they're all played by Matt Lucas as Vicky Pollard from Little Britain.
Oh God.
Okay, too clear. Shut it down.
Yeah.
Thank God, this is all getting cut.
Let's not. Oh yeah, you wish. Let's not leak this because this is a $1 million idea. I'm gonna sit on this. But yeah, like like I said, the horse racing stuff is you just strip away the anime, and you're basically just left with what is like Paddy Power or whatever, like just horse race gambling.
What was it? Wasn't it the Pokemon? Was it Game Freak
Game
or
Freak.
the Pokemon Company or something? And they made all the Pokemon games, and then the weird horse racing game,
Yes, Portal Jockey.
gambling horse racing or something.
What
Portal
the fuck?
Jockey.
I've never. What's this called? Portal Jockey.
I believe so. It's made by Game Freak. Also, in the anime, Josh, I have to ask: is there like a Ladbrokes equivalent? Like,
There should be. I'm looking up this Portal Jockey. I've never heard of this.
yeah, this is
Yeah.
Game Freak.
Oh, Portal Jockey's a WoW achievement. God, fucking, what isn't though? Come on.
Everything is a WoW feat of strength at some point. What is this? It's like a DS game or a mobile game or something.
It's something like DS
It
game.
was like an arcade. If I could be just making all this up, but it's like an arcade game that they ported to DS, and I think it came over here at one point, but I'm not sure.
It did. It was on
did?
DS.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is up with Game Freak making either billion-dollar Pokemon games or just the weirdest shit that no one plays?
Didn't they make Village as well, or whatever it was called?
They made some other,
No, that was Resident Evil Village. That was Capcom.
No.
They made some like weird, like chibi adventure
Or
game.
Town. It was Town, wasn't it?
Honestly, I have no clue. I'm pretty sure like 4 people played it. So,
And that's what I've been talking about. No, I'm not. I haven't been playing that today.
well, it's like people wonder why Game Freak struggle making these Pokemon games, and then you look at what they've made. Other than Pokemon, it's like
Yeah, it's Little Town Hero they made.
And you said you've played that this week?
No, I haven't.
But you've played.
I'm playing.
I'm confused. But you've been playing Pocket Jockey.
No. We'll just mention this because it was like we're talking about horse racing.
Hold on, who's played Portal Jockey?
I've been playing Portal Jockey non-stop. But before we get into what I've been playing, let's do the intro and start this. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Game FourCast, our weekly gaming podcast where we get together and chat about what we've been playing and all the new news. My name is Josh, aka BottlerWorks, and I'm here with Quikwix. Steve.
Hi, I'm Quikwix, and I'm in my showing up to podcast era.
Oliver Meister Will.
Hello, everybody.
And Sammeh.
Hello.
I just realised, like, whilst I was halfway through doing that, I did the order wrong for the first time ever. I did Steve first, and I threw myself off.
Yeah.
It threw me off. I kind of like, I can't stop now.
It's because I've moved up in the pecking order now. Sorry, Will, you've been demoted.
Is that, yeah. Are you did I offend you in some way
I'm gonna have,
last week?
I'm gonna have
What's
to.
up?
I've got to move around all the UI now
this?
because I do it from left to right, but now it's all in the wrong order. So I've got to jimmy this together.
This out live on stream, live on podcast.
All right, let's just jump straight into it. What have you been playing, Steve?
Oh God, I have played a little bit. Well, actually, I played the whole of the Pikmin 4 demo.
Oh yeah. What did you think?
I left it very hungry. I really wanted to eat all the Pikmin.
It really upsets me every time you mention eating Pikmin, by the way. I'm just going to throw that out there.
They look so delicious, though.
They do look tasty.
They're,
I'm with Steve on this
they're
one.
based on actual vegetables. You know that, right?
That might be why then.
I'll fry them up, you know.
The inspiration for Pikmin, if I'm not mistaken, was Miyamoto running around his garden, like doing vegetable shit.
Running around his garden.
Yeah,
I think
his words, not mine, doing vegetable shit.
Sounds like he lives such a charmed life, doesn't it?
Yeah, just go do some vegetables, create some Mario, easy.
Yeah.
But yeah, sorry guys.
Yeah, I don't ever want to saute them or pickle them or something, but they definitely need to be eaten. But yeah, I historically have thought Pikmin is a bad, boring franchise that should be put in the bin.
Mm-hmm. Based on nothing, right?
Based on nothing, really.
Just to upset me, basically.
I have a terrible habit of seeing something, not understanding it, and instantly hating it.
Steve just walks around perpetually angry at things he doesn't understand.
Took me a while before I, started.
It's like you and everyone over the age of 70.
But I played the game, and my opinion on the franchise has improved somewhat. But I'm not sure if it's Pikmin 4 that I like or Pikmin the franchise that I like. So,
I think
what does that mean? You've only played this one though.
Yeah, well, it's because this one, in this game, you basically Olimar and every other fucker under the sun has crashed on this planet. I can't speak. Crashed on this planet, and you need to go rescue them because apparently, there's so many ships have just crashed and died. So they send the rookie space ranger person to go rescue everyone.
It actually feels like a meme in this game because in Pikmin 1, Olimar crashes, right? That's the plot. In the second game, they crash again. In the third game, maybe there's a new... No, they crash again. And it's like, sure, you're not going to do the same plot in the fourth game.
Yeah.
It's like, no, not only does Olimar crash, everyone has crashed. You have to save everyone because everyone is all crashed at the same time. It's so ridiculous.
I always forget as well. They have a really serious all the Pikmin games. They have a really serious like undertone, don't they? Whether it starts and it's like our people are running out of food, so in desperation we have sent explorers across the galaxy to find food for our dying race because we can't farm enough food for our people. And it's like, whoa! I just wanted the happy little RTS game.
Pikmin 4 is definitely a bit more chiller in that regard.
Yeah.
But yeah, Pikmin 1, that's the underlying plot. And then when you crash on Pikmin 1 on the island, it's like, if you don't sort out this problem in 30 days, you will just die of starvation. There's no food. You are going to die.
And you will doom your race as well to extinction.
But yeah, like this game, like the aspect that I really liked was as you're going around rescuing all these like other rangers and basically aliens, they build up like your town or village or whatever it is that your crew. And so that aspect I really like because it very much reminds me of like Digimon World, the first one, or Dark Shadow. What's it called? Dark
Cloud.
Dark Cloud. That
Cloud.
one. Yeah, that one. I love games where you have to like go out and like find people to help build up your village, or whatnot. So I really enjoyed that aspect of it. The other, like I think the way this game excels is the aesthetics for sure. Like it is very much like Animal Crossing. It's very much it's chill vibes,
Yeah.
And
well, until your Pikmin get eaten, and then it's suddenly not chill anymore.
That's the one thing I'll say about this demo.
Hungry, though.
The demo doesn't go far enough to be very challenging because it's not a demo that portrays harder things. It's one of those new age demos where it's like here's the first 2 hours of the game, right?
Yeah.
So it's like you're not going to get any crazy challenge. You're not even going to have all the Pikmin by the time you finish this demo, which is fine.
Yeah, I only had 3 Pikmin, I think.
But
different types.
Pikmin really excels and gets batshit crazy when you're fighting like arena-sized monsters that are enormous. And that's it. Yeah, you're fighting crazy shit and you get later levels and just the casual enemies are just massive monsters that just fucking like gobble up half your army in 2 seconds if you misplace them.
Yeah.
And I didn't get to get any like big boss fights. There was like a little tutorial demo boss fight, but he wasn't that difficult at all. And yeah, I think this game is like I would play this game if it wasn't like 50 quid. But I left it being like I could play some more of that. I would be happy to play more of it.
Yeah. What I will say is obviously I have no basis, right? Because the game's not out.
Yeah.
But I finished the demo in about an hour and a half, maybe just under 2 hours. And in that time, of the very first level, which is all you get access to, I found 13% of all the items on it, which seems like a lot more than previous Pikmin games. It feels a lot bigger, I think.
Oh, good.
Because other Pikmin games you can finish in like 8 hours.
I was going to say, because I played through 3 back when I was renting Switch games, and I got 3 in the mail, and I was like, sweet, Pikmin, this will hold me over. And I think I finished it in like 2 afternoon sessions of playing.
Pikmin 3 is really short. It's really short. The levels aren't very big in Pikmin 3. It's still a really good game, but it's not.
Yeah, it was good fun. But I think I would have liked it a lot less if I had bought it full price on release.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it surprised me that it's an RTS game as well. It's like it's not an RTS, and like, are they trying to sneak, train me into playing RTS games, which I didn't like. I'm like,
it kind of is.
It's the closest thing to like if you were to describe it, the closest thing to describe it to is like a weird take on an RTS. It's just an RTS, but you control the mouse cursor basically with your character, and the camera's really zoomed in. That's all it is really.
There was a while where loads of companies were like, God, RTS is so popular on PC, we need to get it on console, and nobody really figured it out. But when you think about it, it's like kind of Pikmin, right? That's
a lot of people, I feel, with certain games like Halo wasn't a good example, but there are a few like RTSs on console where yeah, the topic was we should put an RTS on console. So they basically just lifted RTSs from PCs to consoles.
And like
made a
shoehorn the controls in.
And then called it a day. Where it's like, no, if you actually stop and try to design it with the control scheme, that's where you get stuff like Pikmin and Overlord and other weird little games.
Overlord!
Like that.
That's a good shout. I liked Overlord.
There's one more. I can't remember. There's one more game that I always think of when it's like console RTS, like Pikmin, but I can't think of what it is. You had it was more of a platformer than an RTS, but Tinykin came out on Game Pass. Like I talked about that, I think like half a year ago.
Yeah.
That had kind of Pikmin-ish vibes. That's another good one. But yeah, so Steve, you don't think you'll buy this? Oh.
I don't think I might consider renting, but I'm potentially. But I'm like, there were a few times in the demo where I was like, I read most of it. I did skim some of it, but there were a few times in the demo where I was like, because I was playing this live on stream, and I was like, oh, I'm stuck here, and mostly Josh in chat was be like, no, you can charge across this part or something, or whatnot. So there's a few bits where I'm like, oh, are they just expecting me to like know how to do some of this?
Yeah, I do feel like as someone that's played all the Pikmin games multiple times, the intro for me was like is painfully slow because it's like yeah, I get it, I get it. But it's also watching you do some of the stuff. I was like, why doesn't he do this, do that? And it's like, well, the game doesn't tell you. So how would you know? And it's obvious to me.
Brought up prompts if you rubbed your face against it.
Yeah.
Like you can hold X to charge.
There was one bit where there was a destructible wall in the background, and Steve, I was watching Steve play it on the stream, and he was like, "Where do I go? I don't know where to go." And I was like, break the wall. But then there was nothing explicitly saying to break that wall, unless you went in the map and searched, and you were like, "Oh, it's a path here." But maybe like little bits like that. I don't know if they made it more obvious to new players.
You have a constant like dog companion with you. He doesn't speak, but maybe he should be like constantly being like, as soon as I get to a puzzle, being like, over here, you can smash the wall.
Yeah,
like God of War.
I really like the dog companion. I think it's a really good addition to the game because he's only in this one.
Just a big Pikmin.
Basically, so it's like he's basically a big Pikmin, but he allows you can ride him and he lets you jump, which is new to the game, which isn't like it's not game changing, but now you got a bit more like maneuverability. There are certain attacks you can like charge from him, and all the Pikmin that are riding him with you will transfer from him onto whatever you charge, which seems OP as fuck, but again, it's only the first like 2 hours of the game.
Yeah.
And you can buff him as well. There's like a new upgrade system, which is really cool.
Yeah, that's what I like. I like this game because it's like, it feels like you're making progress. Whereas I don't know about the previous Pikmins, but I'm assuming they don't have these systems where it's like one person on a planet with no dog or anything. So I assume it's just go around doing puzzles, right?
Yeah, everything that I think you like about this one is kind of new to this game. The whole finding people in caves to come back to your little hub area is all new. Like other games don't even have a hub. You fly into the sky at night and you sleep in the sky and then you land wherever you want to go without like a hub area. So that's all new. And the whole like having individual people that you talk to and get advice and skill trees and stuff, that's all new to this game. So I think I would be worried if you went back to like an older Pikmin, you might think it was like too simple, which it is, to be fair. They are quite simple. I don't know, it's hard to say. They are on eShop now, though, which is good.
They are still a little bit expensive, but as I said, I think the big strength for this game and probably the previous games are the aesthetic, like the whole miniature in a garden.
Yeah, it looks gorgeous.
Look at all these Pikmin that you can eat every night.
I went back. This was a couple of days ago because when you were streaming it, I went down like a rabbit hole. I was like looking up all this Pikmin stuff, and I was like, Pikmin 4 looks great. It looks just like the older ones. I went back and looked at Pikmin 1 and was like, oh my god, this looks awful. On like the grainiest textured floor and like Pikmin with two because like Pikmin is so simple in design, right? It's just like a little round, coloured creature thing. So your nostalgic brain doesn't see all the jagged edges around the the 2 polygon Pikmin head. It just remembers it being, as it is now. But yeah, this game comes out like week and a half, I think.
No, it comes out. It's on the 21st, so.
Which is a week and a half.
Yeah, not this Friday, not the day this podcast comes out, but the day next week's podcast.
Yeah, when you listen, if you listen to this on the Friday when it gets released, it'll be a week from that day. I would not begrudge anyone for skipping this because they think it's too expensive. I'd be sad, but I don't think I would blame people.
Yeah, we're at that time. Well, we're at that stage where you can't just buy every game you want.
Yeah.
Right. You do have to pick and choose. But unfortunately, £50 plus is the average, right?
Yeah.
All games.
It's like
we're AAA games.
We're still reeling off of what has been so far one of the best years for gaming so far as well. So
yeah.
It's just like, can most people squeeze Pikmin in? Probably not. But
you say that, I keep meaning to write down every game that I play or every game that like I've got an opinion on.
Yeah.
So like when it comes to the end of the year, I'm not just sat there being like, what games came out to Google,
I tried to do that.
Like, I was trying to think of like, so what are the best games I played this year? And I forgot about Diablo 4 for like 10 minutes. It's forgettable, but because I played it more than 3 days ago and my brain doesn't work past then.
Yeah, no, I'm the same. So I'm the same. Well, someone will go, "Hey, remember when we spent 3 months playing this in January?" And I was like, "No,
absolutely not."
What, mate? What was this year?
That's one of the good things about this podcast. It's just for us specifically. It's a good list of everything we've played in the last.
Very theatrical brain. I can just go back and figure out what I was playing. Yeah.
I think there'll be one day in the future, years and years and years from now, like decades, where we'll look back at this and be like, "Oh God, yeah, we actually every week." For X amount of weeks, we basically we listed and made an ordered list of everything that we played. I think that's cool to go back and look back at those things.
Yeah, I like it.
It's really good. Okay, is there anything else you want to say, Steve? Or anything else that you've played? Or
that is the only new thing I've played, and I just want to say that I would eat every single Pikmin.
Which one would be the tastiest one, do you think?
Let
me scroll on the screen here. I swear I saw it earlier. Yeah, you got red, yellow, blue, ice, rock, wing, and then purple, white, and glow.
I think the purple would be the tastiest, but then licking the rock one afterwards after eating. Because I'm sure the rest you could put in a salad. You could shave the ice one on top, but the rock one you would have to lick as you're after. Because I assume it tastes like rock candy.
I don't like how elaborate this is.
Wild conversation.
I don't like how it sounds like he's planned this.
Yeah, he's actually like. Yeah, I thought like, this will get him off guard, and he's actually got an elaborate plan already as to which order he eats them.
I'm trying to find a Japanese import of Pikmin seeds so I can grow them in my garden to eat them.
I don't think they're actually real, Steve. I'm sorry to let you know.
Okay, 2 out of 10 game. Play.
The correct answer is the purple one. He's probably got the most meat on him.
Mm-hmm. It's juicy.
Well, just purple's the best flavor, right? If there's a bunch of
that's
drinks
true,
or whatever lined up, you always pick purple.
Starburst and wine gums and stuff. Like purple's always the best color.
Purple's always safe.
Yeah, you're onto something here. All right, and let's jump to Will then. What have you been doing this week, Will?
I've not really played all that much, but me and Aaron have been playing a little game called Dave the Diver.
Oh, you, me, and a million other people have been playing Dave the Diver.
Oh, have you all been playing it as well?
Not me.
This is like the next popular little indie game. It looks like.
I got a thing to say about that little indie game. I only found out the other day this game's actually made and published by Nexon of all people.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
It's like the most indie-looking game ever that isn't actually really indie.
Oh.
What is Nexon? Is Mint Rocket Nexon?
Yes, yeah.
Like that's
Nexon
in-house.
Developer, publisher,
okay.
Mint Rocket. If I open this new tab on Steam, straight to Nexon.
Oh, what am I getting disguised?
I was saying this to Steve right before you guys turned up. We went live. It was Dark and Darker died so that Dave the Diver could thrive.
Okay, well that makes an insane amount of sense because the one thing I really sort of wanted to say about this game was how insanely polished everything in this game is. It's ridiculous for an indie game.
Yeah.
Like everything you do, the setup is just like is this a genre where it's like a game where you run a business but you have to go and get all the ingredients for stuff. There's like
I mean, I don't think that's a genre, but it's been a gameplay loop.
It's a very common loop.
Yeah.
Normally, you're running, you've got a shop and you've got to get a certain amount of money or it's going to close down.
I always remember Moonlighter, where you run an RPG shop, and then in the evening you have to go out and actually do all the dungeons to get like the loot to sell adventurers and stuff.
Wait, I was actually gonna play Moonlighter today, but then I got distracted. I was actually gonna play that. It was either that or Littlewood, but
just skip it. Just play Dave the Diver.
No.
Well, it's also
It's
like
good.
even just like I know Stardew Valley is mainly about farming, but that's got the whole cave aspect of going and getting materials. in the cave
kinda.
and-
Yeah.
It's like two major gameplay loops that just work really well together because one feeds off the other and vice versa, which is a really good loop. Explain what it is. Yeah.
Well, so the whole setup is you move to a place called the Blue Hole, which is a diving spot, which like changes every couple days or something, like a sort of roguelike-esque. And you play as Dave the Diver. You've set up a sushi bar outside the Blue Hole. You dive down, you collect fish, you go up, and then you sell the fish in your sushi bar. And yeah, it's all about just, it's the classic, you sell a bunch of fish, you get a bunch of money, upgrade your diving stuff so you can dive deeper and get more fish.
The fish allows you to sell the fish, which gives you money from customers to buy diving upgrades to then go deeper, and it's just a really satisfying loop, which feeds into itself. Which I think is just there's so many other bits of the game, but that's like it does the core premise really well. I think just that one simple thing. How far are you in this?
We're not. We just did the first, boss in air quotes, I guess you'd call it. So we're not very far at all.
Because this game has that. So this game was early access, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's got that kind of because it's released now. It's got that 1.0 early access feel where I feel like I keep hitting almost like milestones. Where you could see like it could potentially stop here, and then it carries on, and a whole bunch of other things unlock. That keeps like spreading outwards and outwards and outwards until you get like tons of different mechanics and things going on.
And it's so cool because it's like normally, especially for indie games like this, it's all very like systems driven. But then everything you get in this, it's always accompanied with like a little like explanation. There'll be a little cutscene that's like animate. You can see in the background now that's like custom animated and stuff, and it all looks gorgeous. It's so charming. I love this game so much. Yeah,
the characters are amazing as well. You have the three main sort of characters. You have David Diver. There's a guy called Cobra who chills on your boat. I think he initially invites you. And he looks like a James Bond villain. He's got like sunglasses and like he's got like a gold tooth and white hair, and he's always like laughing. And there's the sushi guy as well. I think his name's Bancho.
The sushi.
He's really cool. His cutscenes for like him making sushi are always like almost like samurai-esque.
It's like so over the top.
And there's an anime stereotype, like a guy at a laptop that helps upgrade your weaponry and stuff. He gets a bunch of cutscenes as well of him like hugging body pillows whilst he makes guns and stuff. It's so good. It's so good. I haven't seen cutscenes this well done. You can see it on the screen now. They're this well done in like this sort of style of game in a long time. I think. It really caught me by surprise.
This is great.
The art's amazing. It really caught me by surprise, this game, because I feel like I only bought it because it released. I had seen no trailers or anything, but for some reason everyone was talking about it.
Yeah.
It's so like, we've mentioned it before, but games that just come out of absolute nowhere and are amazing. I love it. It's always catches you by surprise.
Yeah. Yeah, because it had a Steam Next Fest demo, and I think we called it out. I think one of us said like, "Hey, I want to check this out," but I don't know if any of us ever did. And then, yeah, like you said, it's just suddenly taken over the internet.
Yeah, I think it's a really good sort of graphically. It stands out like really well. I think it's these really nice pixel art sprites, but on really kind of simple but really nice looking 3D backgrounds, and it all kind of works in parallax. And it looks really, really nice.
It reminds me of the first like couple areas of like Subnautica, where you're just chilling in like tropical shallows, and everything's just like, oh, this is so pleasant to look at and be in. Yeah.
That was my like first response to playing. It's just like, oh, this game is just so gorgeous.
Yeah,
it feels like an indie game just on steroids.
Yeah,
where it never feels like it steps into an area of AAA or anything, but it looks like like an indie game taken to the nth degree while still remaining an indie game.
Yeah,
I don't know. Hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, like an indie game, but with some real money thrown at it, which makes sense, I guess. It's Nexon, yeah.
That completely blew my mind when I saw that. It's like David Diver is actually made by Nexon. I was like, what the? It looks nothing like a game that would come out of Nexon of all places.
Yeah. Do you feel like that takes away from the game a little bit?
I know.
Before it was like an underdog story, and now it's like, oh, it's only made by the biggest publisher of all time. Oh, okay.
I know it.
Now it all makes sense.
I know it really shouldn't, but it kind of does a little bit. I don't know why. You have this little like, this. I got this little smile as I'm playing it. Like the people that made this, like the 2 or 3 people, must be so happy with themselves that they're doing so well.
Yeah.
But no, it's Nexon, and then the intro cutscene of Dave on the plane, you get like a full credits of like 50 to 100 people that made this game. I'm like, oh, okay, that's fine. Like, it's fine.
They're using this money to fund their lawsuit against Dark and Darker.
Exactly.
You're like, oh no.
Dave's gonna go to the trial. He's gonna get a character witness.
Dave's gonna be a character.
Nexon would never do that to these developers, I swear. But yeah, I have no clue as well how long this game is, because the more I play it, I'm quite far-ish. I think I'm like 10-ish hours in. But even as I watch this trailer, there's so much stuff here that I have not seen.
Yeah, there's a farming. I've seen. What's this like Dance Dance Revolution mode going on? That's absurd. I haven't seen anything like that yet.
I've had like 2 or 3 mini games, I think, as I played, and all the like Steam reviews and people talking about it have dozens of hours, and they're like, "Yeah, it's like a Yakuza game. There's so many mini games." I'm like, what? I've played this game for like 10 hours. Like, when?
It is crazy how it just keeps getting big. Because like you play like a couple of loops, and you've got you'll get a quest that's like, hey, go catch a shark or something. Oh, that's a big and you're like, all right, I get the loop. Dig deeper, and then but it keeps going like, oh, hey, what if we just introduce beer to the bar? That's a whole new mini game. And it just keeps expanding. It's ridiculous.
But that's what I mean. I feel like you can see the layers of early access.
Yeah.
Where it's we don't want to reset people's progress. So in our next update, we're going to add beer and a new upgrade so you can go deeper into the sea. And here's this and that and blah, blah, blah. It feels like, as opposed to simplifying like the start of the game, they just made a game in increments.
Yeah,
which is fine. Yeah. It's a totally fine way to do early access.
I think it works because it introduces everything just slowly enough that it never I can see you running into this at the start and just being like, oh, this is a bit overwhelming, Jesus. But it's like it teases you with enough new stuff that it reminds me of Breath of the Wild, where it's like you never quite, as you're exploring, like you're never quite sure what you're gonna find, and then every now and then it just throws like random events at you, which can just add a whole new system to the game just randomly, and it makes it exciting every time you go and explore.
Reminds me of something like Frog Fractions. where it's just like,
Yeah, that's a good shout. Yeah,
you're like,
yeah.
okay, I understand what this game is, and then it turns into a visual novel or some like point and click adventure game. You're like, well, okay, I have no clue what's going on anymore.
I don't know where this is going. Yeah,
Because there has been a part of Dave the Diver. I think it's ahead of where you are without like spoiling anything. It full on just changed to another genre for like 15 minutes, and I was like, huh?
That's so exciting.
I was like, okay, like we're just doing this now, and then it ended, and it was like, okay, yeah, back to diving. I was like what? It's
That's
so,
so cool.
it's so weird. But I love it. I love that stuff. And again, it's all amplified by the fact that, at least for me, this game has come out of just nowhere.
Yeah, yeah.
I wasn't looking forward to it, wasn't wishlisted, had no clue this game was even real. And now it's just like everyone is playing it. And one of the news stories, not one we're going to talk about, but one of the news I saw this week was this game has now sold more than 1 million copies on Steam.
Yeah.
Which is great for a game of this like size.
Yep.
It's
See,
insanely-
More stuff like this.
yes.
I'm like, this is probably going to be on Epic Games Store or Prime or something for free in a year or so. So I'll just wait for that.
I feel like
Maybe
maybe
but- and then
before. I feel like
you'll have a good time.
now it's doing so well. I feel like they'll be
Yeah,
aware of
plus,
what they're onto, right?
Also knowing it's now Nexon, like they don't have to do shit.
Or I imagine this game
True,
has already
true.
sold, like 15 times their original expectation. So
Yeah.
because we hope, they're making it. I hope David Diver does well, and then it sells over 1 million copies in the like 2 weeks it's been out, and I feel like it's climbed. It's climbed to that as well. That wasn't all on launch. I feel like it came out, people were talking about it, people were streaming it, and everyone was like, "Wait, what? What is this? What is this game? Oh, it's just amazing." Okay, I'll
It's
play
really
it.
like gained momentum.
Yes,
yeah.
It helps that it's cheap and it's on offer. I think it's if you're listening to this on Friday, I'm sorry you're too late, but if right now, I think this is part of the Steam summer sale. It's 10% off, which isn't massive, but yay, offer's an offer. But yeah, amazing game. Is there anything else you played? Are you still doing V Rising or?
Oh, I guess no, we dropped V Rising.
Oh, really? Did you at least get to the new stuff?
We saw some of the new stuff.
Oh
yeah.
no, it doesn't
We
sound
saw
convincing.
about I don't know. There was like a moment where we like this. This is early access. There's a certain amount of content. It's not finished yet. But even the last time we played this, we dropped off before we ran out of content. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
We were done with the game before it was done with us.
Yeah.
And I didn't remember why. And then we were playing this last weekend, checking out some of the new content. But we went to a bunch of the new areas. They're all gorgeous. They're like steam vampire punk. I don't know what you call it. Steampunk plus vampires.
I know. I don't know what you would
thing.
call it either, but I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, it's all like Tesla coils plus
Frankenstein-y.
yeah, that kind of thing. And it's very fun. And as we were playing through all this stuff up to the new content, I was like, I don't remember, why did we ever drop this? This game is so fun. And then over time, the whole thing is like, you're building resources, you're collecting resources to build gear. You build the gear, you beat a boss, which unlocks new technology, which you need to go out and get new resources to build that technology so you can beat harder boss. And it's that kind of loop. And it was like after a certain point, we were like, we'd unlock something new, and then it would be like, all right, now go out and grind all this stuff. And after a while, we were like, nah, I don't want to do that. And then after a certain point, the bosses sort of became more frustrating than fun. They do this really annoying thing where every boss fight in the game has this like midway point where they're like, right, you fought the boss for a bit, he's going to disappear and 1,000 ads are going to spawn, and now you have to deal with all of that before the boss comes back. And we were realizing that we would run up, we'd fight the boss, no problem. The game was it wasn't easy, but it was like we were beating most of them on the first try.
Struggling, yeah.
We weren't struggling. And then at some point we were like, the game is kind of leaning really hard on this ad management thing, and it doesn't give you the tools really to deal with it. And it was like to the point where the boss was like easy as hell, easy as hell. He'd disappear, the ads would spawn, and then we would die in like 10 seconds flat. And then dying in that game is like, okay, I don't know if you remember the blood thing, but the whole one of the big systems in the game is you're going out looking for like people with like quality blood.
Buffs for blood. Yeah,
And you find a guy with quality blood, you drain his blood, and now you are like he might be a rogue or a warrior or a priest or something, whatever it is, and that would give you buffs depending on the quality of that blood.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you dying to a boss immediately gets rid of all of that, and it's like you can't just hit a button and be like, okay, we fucked that up, but like let's go again, you know, let's try again.
You have
it's
to
like,
find who has that blood again as well.
You have to go out, you have to get all the buffs, you have to get all the materials, you have to do the run back, which is like upwards of minutes in some cases to get from your base to where this boss is. And we were just like, you know, you'd run up to a boss, you'd die in like a frustrating way, and we were like, I just can't be bothered. I don't want. Let's just go play something fun. Why are we doing this?
I also played this in a couple with Laura, because you're playing with Erin, just the two of you.
Mm-hmm.
And on quite a few of the bosses, we had something similar, which was we were doing a boss, we kind of kept dying to it, and we just got bored of all the corpse running, of just dying, prep back up, get back to the boss. Okay, it's daytime, so we can't fight the boss now because the day's out, so we got to wait and do something else, or just like, do you want a cup of tea? I'll go make tea whilst wait for the sun to go down. Like,
that was it. Like, I feel like we had so many moments in that game where it's like, we're about to fight this boss. Oh, never mind, it's about to turn daytime. Let's just stand in this rock. We'll go read Reddit for 20 minutes or something while it turns back to night. And it was like, what are we doing? We could just play something that's fun all the time instead of fun about 70% of the time and really frustrating the other 30%.
Okay, but
go for it,
I have a question though, like, because I hear a lot of people like the default V-Rising settings apparently aren't that fun, and it's a lot of fun if you change the server settings to be a bit more like, however you want. Is there server settings where you think like, I could maybe make this a bit more fun if you started again and change the servers?
Yes, but I have this thing where I don't think it should be on me to make the game fun.
I agree to that.
It should be on the developers to make it fun, and then it's like it runs the risk of like, well, if I start fucking with the systems and saying like, I do twice as much damage, it's like, why am I even playing the game at that point? Why don't I just say I get a million of everything?
If I played again and started from scratch, I think I would turn off the mechanic that the sun damages you. But it's a fucking vampire game, so I feel like, I don't want to do that because I don't want to strut around this. But the mechanic of sunlight,
it's not very thematic, is it? If I just ignore that there's daylight sometimes, that's not very vampire of me.
But it's like running around. I hate the sunlight mechanic in this. For like whoever hasn't played this, you can probably guess how it works. You stand in the sun after a small period of time, you take damage until you just die, which is like you're a vampire. Like no shit. But the in-game timer, 1/3, I think, of the time is time that can damage you, sunlight time, because you have like dusk, dawn, and then just daylight. So it's just that 1/3. Whenever it came up and the sun's out, every time it's like, for fuck's sake, I have to hide behind this tree, or if I'm building my base, because we just started, so we haven't got ceilings and stuff yet. I'm awkwardly building my base, hugging the wooden walls, trying to stay in the
shadow
shade
of the wall.
Oh my god, it's so annoying. And it's like, I get it, but there must have been a better way to do it. Like, debuff me, don't fucking kill me or something.
I think it's mainly to engage PvP in that time, right?
I was gonna say, I think like, because I think there are so many server settings, because you two have been playing it as a duo, but like you can play this game as a solo, as a duo. You can also play it with like a big group of like 10, 12, 18 people. You can play it with like multiple people, but like different like PvP factions. Like you can kind of like customize it. So and that's why they've got so many server customizations. Would you prefer it like if they were like, we recommend these settings if you're a solo, these if you're a duo, these if you're in a big group? Because maybe that might help.
I'm pretty sure you do pick a difficulty when you start.
I can't remember.
I'm pretty sure.
I can't remember.
Maybe.
I don't know. I've never made a.
I will say the more I played V Rising, the more I felt like it was geared towards big player base, like big factions, big groups of players, and I was just playing it wrong. I feel like I don't know.
I don't know, because I don't know how you would support like 2 people feels like just right. Maybe up to like 4 or 5, maybe, but like I can't. What will be the point? What's the point in like a 32 man?
Or you're describing
PvP multiple base. There's not enough like map or stuff to do.
Well, it's just like but it's also you're describing how these bosses are fun until they suddenly spawn in uncontrollable amount of ads.
Yeah,
which is a problem which would be solved if you just had more players on, fighting the boss, right?
Yeah,
I assume. So that's maybe that's again one more indication that they're maybe leaning towards that type of like play style of just big factions and players.
Yeah. And I think we also have to remember that this is also early access, so there is also chances that they will improve it along the way.
One thing we did.
Rising still early access.
It's had one update.
It is,
It's had one update since it came out. That's why
it's had one like big content update. It's had a lot of patches and stuff, but
yeah,
that is one thing we did. Me and Aaron both noticed playing through the early game was like we were like this. Before, I remember even the early game bosses being an absolute ball ache to fight sometimes.
Yeah.
And in this one, at least, it felt like for most of the time, it felt like the bosses had been much better tuned to the point where we were like, that was a fun fight. We had fun in that fight. It wasn't easy, but it wasn't like we're spending 5 minutes and then dying and then having to do the run back and just getting frustrated and wanting to quit right off the bat. It felt like a good pace. So I feel like they're like making good changes. But I don't know. It is still a weird thing where I'm like, I don't understand this. They want this big Rust style PvP server options, and I just don't understand how it supports that. Maybe I just need to talk to somebody who's into that and explain to me.
Either that, or maybe give it
works.
Give it 2 or 3 more major updates, and maybe the map will finally be big enough to to warrant something like that. I don't know.
Yeah,
I certainly feel like V Rising for me as an early access game is now like a few others where it's like, okay, yeah, I've had my fun. I will now wait for the full game. I think.
Yeah,
Same.
If the other content updates are the same as this one, I think I am happy to sit on this until it launches now. Because I like this update, but I didn't. It was like, if they, the next update they add is at a level that's after this update, so I have to play through all of the base game and all of the first update to get to the new update, and I'm like, probably not. I'll just wait until it launches.
Yeah. Have you played much of this, Steve?
No, not too much. I did like a #sponsored stream with my brother, and then I played with Will. I think I'm not sure if you were there, Josh, but Will did like.
I missed the initial wave of this game.
We just with our friends, and I played a little bit. Then I was like, very good concept, very cool, but it's an early access survival game. I'm kind of like, I'll wait till it launches when there's like a bunch of stuff, because I'm just fed up of early access survival games because they're always so slow to update.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It feels like they normally do well on launch, make a bunch of money, maybe expand their scope a little bit because of that, and then because of that, they just take fucking ages to come out.
Valheim.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting.
Valheim. Yeah, I forgot about Valheim.
I'm still waiting for Satisfactory. I think that's
so funny you say that, because we stopped playing V Rising.
Oh god.
We went to we played a bit of Dave the Diver, we done a bit of Zelda, and then everyone was like, I'm gonna go check out Satisfactory again. They've just done an update. I'm gonna go play it.
I have started Satisfactory from scratch, I think about 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
I can't keep doing it. I think it was like maybe like 9 months ago, a bit longer. Just in my head mentally, okay, like that's it now. Like I'm not doing copper again.
They can't keep getting away with this.
I'm not going back to the stone, coal,
yeah,
copper.
not
yeah,
making
yeah.
concrete again for the 6th time. I'm going to wait for 1.0 because every time the new update comes out, they're like, yeah, your maps still work. It's fine, but we've changed every single calculation and speed in the game. So nothing works properly anymore. Everything's all fucked. So good luck.
It's like going back to like you're just opening all this machinery that's just like how did any of this function? What was I thinking? Yeah.
It's like half the stuff's on fire, the other half has no power because coal is now worse or something. So it's like, I'm just gonna wait for 1.0.
Yeah. Shout out to Grounded, the only early access survival game to actually launch.
Yeah,
in history.
That's true.
Of the
Yeah,
internet.
Grounded. Yeah, that was a good one.
Okay,
They came out in early access, and then a year later they released and
Good for
beat
them.
everybody. Good for good for them.
are there any more that you can think of that have actually come out?
Factorio, right?
Minecraft.
Yeah, Factorio hit 1.0.
Yeah, Minecraft is
Minecraft.
still being developed. It's probably
Yeah, but
out.
it's early access is out.
They did say like 1.0 a while back, didn't they? Yeah.
I need to check up on Core Keeper and see what that's doing these days.
Core Keeper.
Core Keeper.
Okay,
Jesus, how did we get suckered into so many of these? We have no
Core Keeper,
patience, do we?
On my release thing, I sometimes see Core Keeper just pop up and I'm like, oh, that's getting another patch. Is it a release? Nope. Okay,
Yeah,
skipping
it's
that
still
one for now.
going. Get hype for June crafting though. That'll be sick. What else is there?
Oh,
Not June the month. Dune the
right.
Dune the sand.
I'm also quite the one that I am looking forward to is the Mines of Moria, but I think it's Epic Game Store exclusive.
Oh, that game looks like ass. I see people excited for that, and that game looks like ass. I'm so sorry.
I haven't watched any gameplay of
What's it called? Lord of the Rings? Is it just Mines of Moria
or something?
I saw a trailer for that. Everyone was like, "Oh my god, it looks so good," and I was like, "Are we watching like the same game?" It just looks like I don't know. Oh, is
I think people just like dwarfs and Lords of the Rings.
These screens look better than I remember the trailer being.
That's the next one I'm gonna get suckered into. For sure.
What was the other one?
He knows he's gonna hate it, but by God, he's gonna play it.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna. Yep, 100%.
What was the one we all got suckered into? We thought it was like Hunt Showdown, but it was another early access crafting game.
Cycle?
What?
No, there was a game that had like monsters and it was grimdark, and we were like, "Oh, what is this?" And it was another early access craft. It's not out yet. It's not out. I think there's like a bit of.
Oh,
You must remember.
Nightingale.
I think that's
Is that
it.
what it's called?
I think that's it.
Oh, I know a lot of people who are excited for Nightingale.
Yeah, because it's early access crafting survival.
Yeah, people never learn. Yeah, I just
Went, oh no! I saw one look at this and I went, "This game will be ass."
No,
saying that.
Yeah, this is
I
the one.
do kind of like the look of this.
We watched the trailer when they first showed it. It was like them in a swamp or something, first person with like this perspective. We were like, hunt, oh, it's early access crafting survival. For God's sake!
This game promises too much in its screenshots.
Yeah, it's like Pal World.
That's going to be deliciously bad, and I can't wait.
You and Pal World.
I got every time, if I can, I will bring up Pal World.
I remember watching this and being like, "Oh, okay, it's just a standard clone." And then the guns came out, and I was like, "What is going on?"
I think the trailer hard cuts from like Pokemon-ish battles to this screenshot here with all these Digimon making like M4s.
Enslaved making guns, yeah.
I brought up a screenshot of Nightingale, and Erin visibly perked up and started shaking her head, nodding her head. So
nodding in approval.
yeah, thumbs up. Yeah, we're playing Nightingale.
Yeah. Thanks, Erin. You are part of the problem.
As are we.
I thought you were going to say thanks, Erin. You are part of the podcast. Welcome, I quit.
The podcast. Yeah.
I can't do these anymore.
I've had enough. I'm throwing in the towel. Erin, take over. Erin, take the wheel. So yeah, look forward to Power World, January 2024. It's going to be an absolute banger. You play anything else, Will?
No, that is everything that I've played this week.
All right, go on then, Sam. What about you?
I finished FF16.
Hell
Nice.
yeah! What did you think? Give me your non-spoiler take of what you thought?
Okay, so
Oh, not good.
The worst thing I can say about this game is it did not need to be an RPG.
Yeah, I'll agree to that. I think I said that last time, where it's like, why is there like strength and dexterity and wisdom?
See, it's the thing. It's not why. I completely understand. It's Final Fantasy, right?
Oh yeah, people
Final
shit
Fantasy
if it's not there.
and RPG go hand in hand.
Yeah,
but it doesn't detract from the game, I guess. It just doesn't need to be there. You know, the kill stuff to get materials to craft, but realistically, you just don't. You don't involve yourself with that system whatsoever.
yeah.
And then this whole like leveling up system, which, you know, standard get EXP level up, but like nothing really has levels. Like they do, but it doesn't matter because you either get hit or you don't.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
It's like I said last time when I talked about it, where it's like they felt like they were just too scared of pulling the trigger and making just like, fuck it, this is not an RPG. Final Fantasy Mainline is now an action game. I'm sorry, everybody, just deal with it. They still had to do these things.
That's the only bad thing I can say about this game is that they should have just grit their teeth and gone, this is an action game.
Yeah.
Because the story is absolutely fantastic. The gameplay is incredible. I think they should have given the abilities you get later on. I feel like you should have got them earlier, just because it adds so much more like fluidity to it.
Yeah, it's like in other games of this ilk. So again, like your Bayonettas, your Devil May Cry, stuff like that. You tend to have most of your setup by at latest halfway in. You have most of. Maybe you'll get one other random weapon to spice it up, but you have most of your gear. By gear, I mean, you know, like your mechanics halfway through.
Whereas you kind of really don't get the really fun toys until after halfway through.
Some of the best toys in the game you get right at the end.
Right at the end, yeah.
That always really annoys me in big RPG, not necessarily RPGs, but big games like this, where it's like they tease out your like tool set throughout the game, and then you finally feel like your build is like online, and it's like a final boss and the game's over. And you're like, why you just give me like 20 hours to run around with this stuff? You know?
I mean, story-wise, it all makes sense. I don't want to say like it feels out of place.
Oh
it
yeah,
makes complete sense.
Yeah, it's the mechanics work around the story, whereas I felt like it would have been a better choice to have the story work around the mechanics. Not in a way to make the story like rushed or anything, but just have just insert some way that allows Clive to get all of his abilities a bit earlier, basically, and then carry on the story.
But outside of that, the game is fantastic. I did every single side quest. I did every hunt because whenever they popped up, I wanted to do them.
Yeah,
and you never, apart from maybe at the very end, I was like, Jesus Christ, that's a lot of side quests. But they're follow-ups on storylines that you've already progressed, so you want to go and do them.
Yeah,
they're not just Timmy here needs 3 bottles of water. It's like, hey, that village you've been to 4 times now? Yeah, the storyline around it is now wrapping up. Go see its conclusion.
It's also, main story aside, a lot of those cutscenes are actual, like, the conclusion of important character arcs as well. It's like, here's a main character that you've been with most of the game. They're not maybe massively important to the finale, but, like, do their cutscenes. This is their send-off for the game. If you want to say goodbye to these characters, not goodbye as in any sort of like death or anything, but you know the game is ending. So if you want to have conclusion to this character,
it ties it all up nicely. So you're never wondering, well, what happened to that guy?
Exactly.
Like,
yes. Them? What about X or Y? It's like no, you do. That's what I said to you. Where I finished the story. And then went back and did the final set of side quests, and I was like, "Oh man, I wish I did these first."
Yeah, damn.
It wasn't bad because it was still really good, but yeah, it definitely would have had a lot more impact.
Yeah, you you have the knowledge of the end of the game.
Yes,
right?
yeah, yes, 100%, 100%.
But yeah, no, it never really felt like I was doing something because I had to do it. I was always doing something because I wanted to do it.
Yeah,
which is always great.
yeah.
The like cinematic fights are still just incredible.
Absolutely
where
insane,
it's like,
yeah.
oh, we're in a cutscene. It's like, oh no, this is actually just the game. Holy shit!
Yeah,
Like it's still just incredible.
It's cool anime fights taken to the nth degree with the most insane budget behind it. Like it's just the nicest looking rendered thing you've ever seen in your eyeballs ever. It's so good.
Okay, but what's like the spectacle to actual gameplay? Because I remember fighting Leviathan in FF15 and being like, "What? This is what?" And it's like the gameplay is like I'm pressing a button.
It's basically if you imagine all of the systems that the game has for gameplay stripped down to their simplest element, basically. So Clive will have all these different abilities and stuff that he can use. But if you take that all, if you simplify it all, you're left with what? Like melee, range, and dodge.
Yeah.
And that's when it's like pure spectacle, it'll still do that. It'll be like attack and melee and dodge whilst all this crazy shit is happening, basically. So it's not crazy involved, but it is still like you are still playing.
You do still have two abilities as well.
Oh yes,
like,
that's true. Yeah. Towards the end, you get a few more abilities for the spectacles.
So
stuff.
it's not just hold square. You still have to play the game.
Yeah.
But the game is a lot simpler in those bits.
Yeah.
I won't lie. But you're taken aback by what's actually happening.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah,
that's fine.
It's not quick time events. Basically, it's more involved than that. I think as well. I said before, I still think FF14 has the overall strongest story, but I do think for me, these are probably my favourite characters in any Final Fantasy game. They're all so likeable. They're all so lovely. The enemies and antagonists aren't the best, I feel, but I think a lot of the characters and supporting characters on the ally side are really, really good. Like Sid, Jill, Gav, Otto, and a handful of others. They're all just really good characters in this in just Final Fantasy generally, I think. Just absolutely love it. Just loved it.
Oh, I can't wait to play this next year.
When you do, you will have an amazing time. Because it is
Don't
fantastic.
tell me what I'm going to enjoy. I'm going to hate this game from start to finish.
You'll hate it because your
We
PC.
told you'll like it.
Yeah, your PC will run it at like 10 FPS unless you upgrade. So.
Yeah, I know.
Because even my PC wouldn't be able to run this. I need to get a new PC at some point. I think it's recently when I've been playing all these PS5 games in like high fidelity on my TV, and I'm watching these cutscenes at 4K. I'm like, I really need to get a new PC.
See, the best thing is I was playing through PS Remote Play.
Yeah.
So I still had the monitor into the PS5. So I still had everything, but I could also see how it looked on PS Remote Play.
Yeah.
In case anyone was in Discord and wanted to see it. And the quality difference is insane.
Yeah.
Like it's not the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think this game, when it comes to PC, will be an absolute stunner. Because this game doesn't run perfectly on the PS5. It has issues. But
I played on graphics mode and I had no issues. The game looks fantastic.
I played on frame rate mode, and it was fine, but it's not solid 60, which again, you kind of we talked about with Tears of the Kingdom, where you start it and you're like, oh god, but then a lot of the issues fall to the side when you're actually just playing. I had that with this, where at the start I was like, oh, it's not solid 60 FPS, put in the bin. But it's just like, it's fine. It's absolutely fine.
Yeah.
But I would like to see some kind of juiced up PC version of this. I think that would just look insane.
It already looks incredible.
It does. It looks absolutely amazing.
But I think, Josh, you're talking like 4K.
Yeah, I'm literally nitpicking.
Like native would look
Yeah,
even better.
yeah. It's certainly not native. You can tell during a lot of cutscenes and battles. Again, it's still fine, but it's like this a really crisp 4K image looks so good.
You want to see this on a 4090 something 4K HDR monitor.
I just
I
just want to see. Like, there's a few in these cutscenes. I just want to see like all these spectacles just at their absolute peak.
Yeah.
I think I said last time where in the future I don't think I'll play this game again unless there's DLC, but I'll certainly go back and rewatch some of the fights.
Yeah.
Just because it's just like, remember that fight of X versus Y and how fucking awesome it was? Let's just watch it on YouTube. It's like 10 minutes long. Like, screw it. I've got 10 minutes. Like, it's really good. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Sam. Did you get a final runtime roughly of how long it took you?
No, I didn't look into it. No.
So I think it took me about 50-ish. I think maybe a bit longer, 50, 60. I did.
It was around there. It will have been around there.
Yeah, I did everything minus a whole new playthrough on the other difficulty.
There was a load of achievements of like, oh, get a combo hit using these abilities and kill enemies using this, and I was like, nah, bro. Like, I get it. That's for them people out there.
Yeah.
I don't need that.
Did you do the trials?
I did one.
They're pretty fun. They're really fun. There's
I suppose that's supposed to be where your like hard content is, right? Limitations are put on you, and you've got to hit all this criteria. But
you can do, but you can just do them once and finish them, and then because that's what I did. There's a few trials around the map towards a certain point in the game, and if you do them, you're locked to using certain abilities for like a few waves. And they're just like fun little bonuses, but I really like those, being locked to certain abilities and trying to do the best you can with a certain setup. I really enjoyed that. If you fancy it, I recommend giving those a look.
Yeah.
You played anything else?
A lot of Dead by Daylight.
Dinky.
Is there you're banned, Steve? I can't say that word. Is there anything else to say about DBD?
The event, like for me, the one thing I will say is like, killers have been playing very, not in the spirit of the game that always was there in the past. But apparently that's an anniversary thing, and the anniversary event should be over now. So I'm like, yes.
I've still got 20 hours.
All I've noticed from that is that sometimes killers would let you go. And because there's such a massive multiplier on in-game currency, most killers are just going for 4 kills. I was going to
say, yeah, they're leaving the third person slugged on the ground, camping them because they want their 4 kills, and it's like before, like when previously it was like ingrained, like do not do that. Like no, you will get a bad reputation if you do that. So I'm like, okay, I will not do that. And now, and you'd see killers like purposely let the last survivor go and stuff. But now all of a sudden they are like just so relentless. It's like, oh, because I don't mind losses. I hate losses where it feels like, oh, these community rules that I was ingrained. I mean, like multiple people telling me, like, if you do these, if you leave survivors stuck on the ground, if you camp a hook, you will get bad reputation. People will not like you. And now for this anniversary event, people are like, well, everyone's doing it. So
it is odd because like I do like agree with you.
I've barely found any of that.
I do feel like
the funny thing for me.
It doesn't annoy me, but I do feel like you were saying all that, and I was like, oh, Steve's just overreacting. And then we played a sesh, the 4 of us.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we played like 3 or 4 games, and I think I got hard tunneled out of like 3 of them,
yeah,
like in a row. And I was like, okay, it's fine. But
I always think it's like that you can't blame people for just
no, and that's why
winning,
I don't let it
right?
get to me. Because it's like
yeah,
because I can't get annoyed by it, because if I play killer, I do exactly the same thing. Like,
and it's like these people are just playing the game to win, and it's like I can't really be mad at that. It might be like we might be like, oh, grumble while it's happening, but like surely that's a problem. If this is a thing, that's on the devs to fix it, not the players to moderate their behavior.
it's
To
also
a certain
it's
extent,
kind of
obviously.
on the,
Don't
on
be
the
like
players
DM,
as well. Because like if someone's camping, the way that you teach someone not to camp is you absolutely annihilate them out of the game.
You make them
just
lose.
say,
Yeah.
"Yep, you've camped that one person. They're gone. We're just going to finish the game and leave."
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we did most of the
I
time.
guess, yeah.
We had like most gens done after.
And
I
it's
was
just
dead.
because we're playing as a group, that's not fun for us. You know, we want to get
Yeah.
out as a team, but at some point, you just got to be like, right, this guy's doing this, so let's teach him why he shouldn't do this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's frustrating
Yeah,
in solo games. If you play a lot of solo Survivor, someone can just get killed by tunneling really early, and it's like, oh, I cannot talk to these other people, so the game's basically over. It's horrifically effective in those types of matches. Again, not really complaining because it's just a killer trying to win, right?
But
Yeah.
I get why Steve's frustrated though. I do get it.
I do realize now that there are like perks and stuff to take that are like very anti-tunnely, but it's like it shouldn't be that like, oh, you need these anti-tunneling perks which hopefully aren't required most of the time. And then so if I got a perk that's like, oh, if a killer leaves me slugged on the ground, I can get myself back up off the ground. But it's like most of the time I don't need that. And it feels bad to be like, oh, I should start taking it now just because people are playing in a different way for this event. I do agree that it is more of a how the game is designed problem over a player problem. But yeah, I'm not sure. I had to take a break from playing Survivor because I was like, oh,
I think there's also like there's a certain play style as well that gets punished very hard as well by campers and stuff, and it's the people that sprint around all over, like sprint 100% of the time.
That's me.
So they just get found instantly.
Yeah, me.
And
That's
it's
me.
like if you've got someone that's sprinting and someone that's not, the only person they're going to find is the person that's sprinting. So they get tunneled out of the game, you know?
Yeah.
So
I like
gameplay reasons.
I like
why
to
sometimes
I like to sprint around because I think I'm hot shit in chase when I'm really not. But I like to think I am. I'm like I'll sprint everywhere and do gens, and if I get caught, I'll just get chased and win. It never goes that way, but that's what I like to think. That's why I take flashlight every game and only use it like every 1 in 4 games.
Yeah.
It's like again the whole flashlight thing where I take a flashlight but I'm not always using it. It's that kind of correlates to what you were saying, Steve, about why should I take a perk if I don't always need it? It's like, well, that's just the gamble that you take, right? What if you do need it?
Yeah.
You take that risk.
That's the thing is, yeah, it's like there are perks in the game to counter that sort of playstyle, but it's like some of them should be baked into the base game. Like if there's 2 survivors left and the third one's on the ground for like 5 minutes, they should be able to get themselves up. They
have in the past made certain perks called base kit where it becomes part of the character. They have done that a few times. If you get unhooked now, you have endurance and haste for like 5 seconds or something.
Yeah.
Where you can't be hit. That didn't used to exist. It used to just be if you were playing with randoms or something and you were hooked and some really intelligent survivor came over and unhooked you when the killer was close by, you could just get hit again and downed. Like that's how the game just used to be until they changed it. There are tons of little things like that that they've done over time. So I'd like never say never. It's like now you can see what all survivors are doing at all times, right? You can see if your friends are doing gens or totems, things like that. Like that's still new, relatively new.
Yeah.
And it's like thinking about playing DBD without that sounds fucking horrible.
It's funny because I remember watching a video where it was they were explaining the killer win rates.
Yeah.
And ideally, killers should be at about 60% win rate because it is supposed to be slightly in their favor, right?
Yes, yeah.
And it always will be because 4 people have to play well as survivors, whereas a killer only has to play well on their own.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense, yeah.
And it's never going to be a straight 50-50.
No.
And all of the killers bar one are within that 50 to 60% win rate.
Yeah.
Who's the one?
I actually can't remember. They're at 63%.
It's probably
Oh,
like
so it's
Freddy.
above. I thought.
I was gonna say Freddy's
Yeah.
probably low or something. Freddy's not very good.
Ironically, the lowest was Nurse at 53.
Oh, really? That's odd.
Probably
Yeah.
because she's very hard to play, though.
Yeah.
From what I know about like Dead by Daylight sort of win rates is apparently it's really odd. As you're sort of low MMR, killers tend to win a lot, and you see a lot of people complaining like killers are too strong. But if you go higher, even in like solo survivors, you go higher and higher. Apparently, survivors do really well against killers, and killers just really struggle against. Like you say, 4 people spawn into a map, and they're all on it, and they all just start doing gens. Like the survivors can just win really quick. I feel like a lot of time in solo play at the low MMR that I think I'm at, survivors are just running around half the time, not doing much.
A lot of the big changes to the game has been to nerf survivor play.
Yes.
Like it'll be to add open doorways or areas for killers to walk through so they get looped less. If you go through the same window like 3 times, it gets blocked off automatically. That's now a base kit thing. Because survivors just stomp on killers at a certain level.
Yeah, I watched a Ots video the other day about how what used to be in the game and how they've, what used to be terrible and what they've changed. And yeah, survivors just used to be able to jump through windows forever and infinitely loop certain killers, which just sounds horrible. But I think
it's funny looking back at old versions of games.
I love it.
Like,
yeah.
In hindsight, how did this ever pass?
How do we live like this?
yeah. It's like because I jumped on Hunt right around release time, but some of the stories people say about old Hunt is fucking wild. That like, if you you level up, but you used to start with like just flat out less health than other people, so you would be one shot to most guns just in the game, which is like, how absurd is that?
What a great idea!
yeah.
Well, didn't Old Hunt as well used to have quick swapping and things like that, where you would just you 2-tap people in like a fraction of a second, and lots of little things like that. I love that stuff. I love going on the DBD wiki, and whenever there's like a perk that's being changed, buffed or nerfed, you can look at all the older versions of it and what it used to do, and some of them were just so busted or so shit and things like that. Like with DBD. You have one that I always think of, because when I played a long time ago, this was in the game, and there's Hex Ruin, which in its current state, it's a hex totem that if you stop doing a gen, it automatically regresses, which is pretty standard. It's fine. You can live through that. It's fine. The way it used to work when I played a long time ago, and every killer ran it, was if you did a skill check, and it wasn't a great skill check, i.e. the little white pip, the hex would kick in and the gen would regress. So unless you were doing great skill checks, the gen would not finish.
That's crazy.
Which, if you then get, say, 2 or 3 survivors, all low MMR, trying to do one gen, is just going nowhere. It was insane. And there's tons of things like that in DBD that are really interesting, about how they used to just be so busted.
Yeah.
But I think DBD's in a good place right now. I think it still could use, over time, some more interesting tweaks to maybe make stuff feel better. But I don't know. Grass is greener, I guess. It used to be way worse.
Yeah, Nick Cage will save the game.
Yeah, absolutely will. I'm still waiting for him. He comes out really soon, right? He's like 24th? 25th?
Question mark?
Oh, I watched the video of his voice lines. Have you seen those?
Yeah.
Oh, they're so good. It makes me want voice lines for all the other survivors. Because it would just be so much more interesting.
Voice lines is one of the best things. Like when Wesker just runs around, it's like 7 minutes is all I can spare.
I've just seen the one of Nicolas Cage getting melee attacked, and he just runs off going, "Oh fuck! Ow! Ow! Ow!" It's so ridiculous, but it's so funny. Is there anything else to say about DBD? Are we done here, or any other games, Sam?
No, I've literally only played those 2, mate. I play a new game tomorrow.
Oh yeah, that's Atelier Marie remake.
Yeah.
That'll be next week then, I guess. Well, we'll say about DBD. Is it like slowing down for you at all? Because you're still well in there.
Today I bought pretty much the rest of the DLC for characters.
Yeah.
So there is only one survivor I don't own.
Yeah.
And 3 killers I don't own.
Yeah.
And there are only 5 survivors I haven't got to Prestige 1.
Yeah, I did something similar because it's a Steam summer sale as of recording. I just basically finished off my entire roster. I have every killer now, and I think I'm missing 2 or 3 survivors purely because I've bought their killer with in-game shards, so it makes no sense to buy their DLC pack and get them. So I just have to play more and get them over time, I guess. Okay. Oh yeah, we'll drop that off there then. We'll carry on our weekly DBD discussion next week. We'll do some new stuff. There's been a few news stories this week. I'll bring it up because it is the big news story. I feel like it is dragging out a bit now, but this is probably the biggest one of this week. I'm sure everyone listening, and probably you guys, have heard this as well. It's more about the Microsoft, Activision, Blizzard merger.
Yes.
So where we're at now is the FTC versus Microsoft arc is over. The FTC being one of the big 3, I believe they had to get round. It was like, was it UK, EU, and America were the big 3 they had to wiggle through. And
I thought it was China. It was like EU, America, and China, but I don't know.
Oh, because we're CMA. The UK is CMA.
We're different now. I don't know.
Regardless, the FTC is now finished they had like a trial against it, and ultimately Microsoft have won against that. So England is now the only thing standing in the way, really.
Don't worry, guys. We'll stop this dystopia. Don't you worry. We'll stand in the way of progress.
It doesn't look like we will.
This is bad, right? Like, this is bad.
I think fundamentally, yes. Long term, this is not great. I think short term, it's going to be awesome. I'm going to play Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 on Game Pass. Hell yeah. Woo!
Yeah.
I'm going to play Diablo 4 expansion on Game Pass. Yeah, woo! But long term, this is probably awful.
Yeah, it's just slowly a monopoly.
There's no way, realistically, I don't know if they're $1 trillion. I'm going to say $1 trillion business should be able to buy $1 billion business. But what do I know? I'm just a poor person compared to all these billionaires. But yeah, so now that this has officially closed its door, it's looking like the merger is going to happen. The UK regulators, which is I think it's a CMA. UK's Competition and Markets Authority. They have said they're willing to give it another look, basically, because everyone else has said yes. I assume so. It's not just England being left in the dust or something, as Blizzard and Activision is just somehow pulled out of England. Because they were saying, Microsoft said at one point that there was
all the Microsoft drones just lifting off,
flying
over to Calais.
Every PC in England just explodes as Microsoft on it.
Just shuts down. Yeah.
Well, Microsoft said at one point that there was a scenario, like a really bad scenario, but they considered that they might work something out where Activision Blizzard just doesn't operate in the UK.
Mm-hmm.
You know, whether that means there's no Game Pass in England or other things like that. That's what they were considering at some point. Because if you ignore the CMA in the UK and just get, permission from the other ones, you can still do it. You just don't include UK CMA.
Yeah.
And then also UK players would at that point moan, and cause much uproar until it happens.
Don't underestimate the power of angry nerds. But yeah, like I said, we've covered this quite a lot. I feel like when you look at the comments of any of these, it seems like people generally are like, yeah, this is a bad idea, and also I'm kind of sick about hearing this now. Like, just
I think like as soon as it was announced, it was like this is gonna happen one way or the other. This is gonna happen. It's
Yeah.
just like how long and how arduous the process
Yeah.
is gonna be.
All this is changing day by day right now.
Yeah.
So by the time this podcast comes out on Friday, there might even be something else that's changed with the UK side of it. But yeah, that's where that like kind of is. How do you guys feel about this? Just generally, like Steve, what do you think about this whole thing?
I think it's obvious. It's just eventually it's going to happen. I'm
Yeah.
like, just get it over and done with. You know.
Rip the Band-Aid off.
Yeah, like if Sony, if you want to compete, step it up. Like, you know, give us something worth, you know, fighting for. Buy out. What's a good company they could buy out?
Sony must have the money to do a big purchase. I think not again. I don't think the answer to this is like Sony should also buy a massive company.
We literally want the opposite.
Yeah,
we don't want all the power in one place, and that's what this is.
But I wouldn't be surprised if we did see some sort of big Sony buyout. I think we got
they bought
Bungie.
recently.
Yeah, they bought Bungie. Maybe some kind of Square Enix purchase or something, but I don't know the sizes of those companies, so that might be ridiculous.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
And also, I think like if Sony's worried, they need to step up their PC like area because like Microsoft doesn't care about. Well, they've got the console, but like they're not really thriving in the console market, are they? It's the PC. So I feel like Sony could step it up in that area as well. Like I think there's things that Sony could do to not fall too far behind.
I think one of the issues is when you're talking about this much money, I don't know if Sony actually can compete. Like,
Sony cannot compete with Microsoft in pure monetary terms.
No,
Yeah.
orders of magnitude.
Yeah.
But
different sizes.
I still do think though that like they might not be able to compete on the same level, but they can compete in their own way. Like it doesn't need to be like entirely that. Like Microsoft's not going to dominate the market. Like,
oh no, they will. This is literally it.
I think this is they buy this Activision Blizzard and they just have sudden access to so many IPs and so many properties.
I'd like to remember that Microsoft has Bethesda.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got Starfield coming out as a killer app exclusive in like a couple of months.
I get that. I still do think that like if Sony's worried, they should start thinking about making good games that can compete with these franchises.
The issue
I know
it's
easy
not
said and done.
Sony that needs to be worried. It's us. It's not on Sony to stop.
Why do we need to be worried then though? Like, because I'm like, you know, as someone who doesn't really keep up to date with current consoles other than Nintendo. What is
that's the other thing is you're looking at this from a console perspective.
Mm-hmm.
This is a business perspective. Microsoft, you know, like we have Microsoft and Sony and all these other studios.
Yeah.
Well, soon it's going to be Microsoft and Sony. All those other studios are under Microsoft.
Yeah, you're getting to a point where you might only have all these different publishers, right? And then it just slowly becomes outside of indie development. Yeah, you just have Microsoft, Nintendo, and Sony. That's it. You don't have Activision, Blizzard making and publishing their own games. You don't have Bungie publishing and funding their own games. Everything is just owned by megacorps, which already exists in other industries. Like you look at like food, and you follow the chain up, and most products on shelves are owned by like 10 to 12 companies, which sounds like a lot, but when you think of the the variance of just shop products,
I would like to see maybe like not acquisitions, but like some of these bigger companies being like, okay, we're gonna make sure that these individual game studios stay individual, but we'll help them out a little bit along the way. I think I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think that's what Microsoft have said. Like originally, remember they were buying all these companies, and they were like, "We're not getting involved. We're going to let Redfall keep doing its own thing. They can keep making their own game." And I think that's good regardless of whether or not something like Redfall is good or a bad game. It's good to let these companies be independent. But I think as time passes, it doesn't matter that Call of Duty will still be on PlayStation for the next 10 years because these acquisitions are forever.
Because I just like I keep having debates with people about like a similar thing, or is like Steam and Epic, and then all the other subsidiaries where there are people who like kind of like argue the point of they just want Steam, they don't want anything else, they just want Steam. And I'm like, even though like some like the others are annoying and they're lesser than in terms of quality, especially Epic being the big one. Like, I personally am glad that Epic is there because I'm like, as long as we have one, as long as there's the option of one or the other, I'm like, probably that's fine for the most part. But like having the Steam be a monopoly is a problem. But I'm like, there are like, that's why like Epic to me, I'm like, it's not good. There are problems with Epic, but it's like a necessary evil in a way.
Or competition is always good because when there's competition, the only person that wins is the consumer.
Yeah.
But I do think though, like as long as we've got a good couple of competing things, I don't think we need every single, like if it comes to it, like, oh, we have like studios either like Microsoft Studios, Sony Studios, or Nintendo Studios. I think that would be fine because then you at least have the choice of where to go, as long as it doesn't become too narrow. I don't think it's the worst thing in the world.
We just have to just like ultimately, I think these are like battles of giants, right? There's nothing the layman can do besides just watch.
The layman had their chance. We had the chance with the funding. Well, I guess it was layman also indie game studios, but we had the chance. Like the Kickstarter era kind of died off because we had too many Kickstarter failures. But we, that was like if it comes to it, and I'm sure Kickstarter will pick, or something along those lines will kick back up, and gamers will be like, we want to support the smaller studios.
Well, yeah, I think ultimately, regardless of what happens, there will always be an indie scene, right? There will always like the little guy is always going to want to make games, regardless of massive financial gain from it or not. Like people, it's like art, right? People always want to make art. Mm-hmm. It's like people always want to make good games. There's always going to be an indie scene. Which I think is good. Like that will always exist. It's just it's just the landscape of big AAA games is just over time. I mean, like decades, is going to get really weird as these big companies just start gobbling up everything, like a fucking game of Slither.io.
Yeah, I do think like as long as maybe there should be like regulatory systems to make sure that everything is like remaining up on board.
There are. That's what these are. They're all saying it's all right. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think like halting the purchase, but as long as they're like keeping an eye on like the actual practices of these companies in the while they're making games, making sure they're not being too restrictive or something, or too demanding. But yeah,
once they own it, there's not really a lot these things can do.
Yes.
All you can do is stop them having too much.
Yeah, these are preventative measures. They're not like proactive, I guess. Whilst after the transaction's all been complete, it's like Sam says, it's just at that point, if it's all fine and dandy and all the paperwork's been signed, you just do what you want, don't you? You carry on as normal, or you give it a few years and you double the price of Game Pass because we have Activision Blizzard now. It's like who knows what happens. It's like
that's the issue of monopoly is if Microsoft buy another 2 or 3 big names and then go, right, Game Pass £50 a month.
Yeah, what can you do besides at that point like
just I don't know, like we did.
But they
go back to what we did before. Yeah, no, I know what you're saying.
They give the option. They don't sell games individually.
Yeah, they don't sell. Yeah,
they just put it only on the Game Pass.
If it becomes that much problem, then I think people like gamers would riot, wouldn't they? Like
they wouldn't have.
It's too late at that point, though.
Gamers are very fickle as well. I feel like just generally they'll just be like, okay, this is it's fine. Look at the value of a £50 Game Pass. You get World of Warcraft 2, you get COD, this, that, and the other, and it's like, well,
I'll tell you what, if it does get that bad, we'll all just go back to playing RuneScape and
Yeah.
or League of Legends and be miserable.
Until they buy Jagex.
I was about to say, I've got some bad news for you, Steve. Microsoft buy Jagex in 2026. RuneScape 4 is exclusive to Game Pass.
Yeah. Microsoft buys Fortnite.
Oh, I feel like Fortnite has so much ridiculous money that
they can't afford
that's
that.
too.
Well, they probably could.
No, Microsoft can.
Yeah,
they can, but I feel like that is actually an absurd amount of money.
That's backed by Tencent, right? So
yeah, but that's the levels that it can get to if it gets out of control.
Yeah,
which is why these little ones are important. And Activision Blizzard isn't little.
No, that's why this is so much like debate, right? It's because this is I think the biggest purchase or acquisition like in media history. Like it's absurd. It's like what was it? What was the original number? Like 70 billion?
Or 68.7 billion.
Yeah. I was rounding. What's a billion or two? It's fine.
It's so funny when you're like, what's the point in 0.7? It's like, that's $700 million.
Yeah. That's how much I would make if I worked continuously for about 2,000 years or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the current news story. As I said, this is literally changing day by day right now. The UK are still working out what they're doing with this whole thing. Because we are still, as I said, I say we're as in like it's us on the front line, but it's like
David versus Goliath, right?
Yeah,
that's us. It's holding this back.
It's all this. It's the CMA being like, oh, we still don't know, whilst all UK MPs are trying to push that the UK is like a tech hub. They're like, what the fuck are you doing?
Based CMA versus wuss MPC. Caved immediately.
I can see the Chad memes right now in my head.
Yeah.
Well, because
as long as I get Call of Duty for free, I guess I don't. What are we gonna do? Like, I could complain, but at least let me play Call of Duty before you jack the price of Game Pass to like $900 a year.
Hey, if Call of Duty goes down, you got BattleBit instead.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It might
just what that game is in a month.
Sure, it's a monopoly of magnitude of billions, but hey, I'll get to play the next Yakuza game for £1 on Game Pass. So who's the real winner here?
Wasn't there like a story about like maybe the £1 Game Pass is coming back?
Yeah, it wasn't really a story that I have here ready, but I think
that's the thing is they're like, oops, okay, we won this merger, but here's the £1 Game Pass. Don't hate us.
That's the thing. I feel somewhat responsible, even though I'm not in any way. I feel like me peddling £1 Game Pass has somehow led to the FTC being like, yeah, okay. Let it go through.
Yeah. So they bribed them all with $1 Game Pass.
Let it go through, and maybe I sneak 6 months of Game Pass into your account. Yeah.
Sliding Game Pass cards under their hotel room doors.
Yeah. They're at like the court trial, and what's the main guy at Microsoft?
Phil Spencer,
yeah. Phil Spencer's like, I'd like to show you this evidence, Judge, and he just puts like an Xbox gift card in front of her.
If the jury would check under their seats, you'll find Xbox Ones.
No, he slides. Not even that. He just slides a bit of paper that says Exoprimal Day 1 on Game Pass.
Oh, I need to preload that.
I did that today.
You make a good point. Court adjourned. Speaking of based UK and gaming, Peter Molyneux.
It's about me? Oh.
No, it's not about you. Peter Molyneux is back, and he's you missed him. I missed him. We all missed him.
I missed him, yeah.
He's peddling new
shit.
shit.
Where was he
gone? He was, I think, just chilling.
Gaming for a while.
I think he's just been chilling out at, 22 Cans? His little
game dev? Closed, didn't it?
They downsized. They like fired a shitload of staff.
Oh right, it's just him in an office,
basically.
I think I saw a news story in this. Something it was. I think it was titled like Peter Molyneux promises not to hype new game by hyping his new game.
Literally. So the story is. So if you don't know who Peter Molyneux is, he's the old head of Lionhead, who was the studio that made all the Fable games, and he is notorious for just chatting mad shit about whatever he's making. It's the best thing you've ever seen. No one has ever done this. You will literally cream when you see what I have made for you. It's going to blow your mind. Like all this stuff every time. And I think after a certain point, maybe like after Fable 3, everything he made was just kind of naff, despite him still peddling it. He had so he made a game studio called 22 Cans, and they set
I get
up.
it.
Do you? Well, 22.
It's
what?
toucans, like the bird.
Is it? I've never thought about that. Anyway,
Well, I assume it's.
I think it was at some point they said they were going to make 22 games, and they made like 2 before having to downsize.
No, it was Peter's. I'm on their website. Peter's dream was to handcraft a team of the 22 most talented, passionate, and creative individuals.
God. That's such
with
a Peter Molyneux thing.
which to make the defining games of his career.
And they sit around the table with
Wait, and
their
then they
power
fired,
rings.
Then they downsized.
Then they downsized.
They lost.
So yeah, they came out with. Do you remember Curiosity the Cube on mobile?
No.
Yep.
Oh my god, it was the funniest thing ever. So it wasn't a game. It was an experiment basically, and it was a big 3D cube made up of
Curiosity.
Yeah.
What's inside the cube?
what's inside the cube.
Yep.
And you would chip away at this cube. And I think you can only do certain amounts of chips. Like you can only tap X amount of times unless you paid for a little bit more.
No, it was just everybody was clicking it at the same time.
Yeah,
It was like 29 million cubes or something. 29 billion cubes or something.
And the idea is that whoever tapped the last cube and opened, the box, got given a video that they could either keep to themselves or reveal to the world. And they revealed it, which was quite nice. And it was what was it like? It was a proposition to be part of their next game, Goddess. Yeah, which they were going to be. Whoever opened the cube was going to be a god in that game, and they would get like a cut of the money that game made,
and they would get to pitch ideas.
They would be God, basically,
Yeah.
in Goddess.
That
so they
sounds
would
like a bot
decide
would
the
have
direction of the
used that.
game and stuff like that.
Yeah. Ultimately, that went nowhere. I think Goddess is still early access. It
was a Kickstarter game as well, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it just completely died basically, and that was I think that was the last thing he was peddling.
That poor guy who has arthritis in his finger because he was clicking so furiously, and he's like, "I'm going to be in the game."
Apparently, the guy only played it for a joke for about an hour.
Yeah,
that's so good.
Well, and they like barely contacted him or anything. It just went nowhere.
Yeah, I can't remember where it is. It's like a video or an article somewhere you can read about. They interviewed the guy that won way after he won, and it's just like, what happened? Like, what happened? Like, can you just tell us how it went? And he like spilled all the beans, and it's a really good read about how you're saying, like he just wasn't contacted. It was really weird. He got a really awkward tour around 22 Cans and all this other stuff. It's really great.
17 cans or.
Yeah, the reason you need all this context is because, like I say, it builds up the weirdness that is Peter Molyneux and the fact that he's now back. Supposedly, he's been working on a new project for, I think it says 5 years in this article, and he says explicitly how the era of him, like hyping stuff up, is behind him. Does not make fake promises anymore. He doesn't do it anymore. He doesn't come out and tell you why his game is amazing. So instead, all I'm going to tell you, I'm not going to hype it up. I'm just going to tell you that what I am making, you have never seen before, and it is amazing, and it is going to change the gaming landscape. Look, direct quote here from Molyneux: "In days gone by, I would just start telling you about the whole game and the whole game design and why it was going to be the most brilliant game in the world, but I'm not going to do that this time."
Nice, good job, Molyneux.
Yeah, so he's just coming out and saying like, it's very special to me. We've been working on it for 5 years. It's very close. It's going to be amazing. But yeah, I love this story. There's something about it where it's just it tickles like a really nostalgic part of my brain and gaming.
Yeah, I always remember that interview with him where I think he was talking about Black and White or something, and he was like, "What you're gonna see is I've got an apple, and in the apple is a worm, and then I zoom out and I can see the whole world."
Well, there's the famous, like with Fable 1, I think it was, where it's like you can plant a seed and go on an adventure and come back, and that seed would have sprouted, and it is now a tree. and time moves, and everyone has lives when you're away. Bear in mind, he's talking about like a fucking OG Xbox game with like 2 megs of RAM or something. He's just like, he's like talking about stuff that's not even done now.
There was one where he was like, it's gonna rain in the game, and then you're gonna look out the window of your house and it'll also be raining. It's like, what are you talking about? And he was like, it was famous because he would do these interviews and say stuff like this, and all the people back at Lionhead would be watching the interview and just being like, the game doesn't do any of what is he talking about? It doesn't do any of this.
I love there's all the Project Milo stuff for Xbox Connect.
What was? Oh yeah, that you played with a kid or something.
There was a kid who lived inside this game. It was purely like a tech demo, but it was
like Nintendogs, but for a child. And it's like the kid in the game throws a ball at the screen, and the woman on the Xbox Connect camera, like in real life, pretends to catch it. And Peter Molyneux's like, "Look what she just did. That wasn't scripted. She wanted to catch that ball." And it's just like. It's like, Matt, absolute. What are you talking about? Like, absolute Matt. Where's the game? I love it though. I love him.
Don't get me wrong.
Give this guy
I love
infinite money. Microsoft, just give him infinite money.
I just want.
It'll make Summit.
I want this guy to just like do a speech at my birthday or something. Just like
yeah.
He doesn't know me, but it's just talk, please. I just love hearing him talk. It's just utter madness, but it's just there's something. It's like half grifter, half like charm. I don't know.
I don't know. I think it's like it comes from a place of like pure wonder at video games. You know,
like a child. Yeah.
It's just like all the things we can do, and it's like we don't have the budget for any of this. He's like, all the things we can do.
It's like he has the idea like mid interview.
Yes,
and he gets caught up in his own thing. Where it's like the whole thing about the rain you were saying about look outside, it is also raining. He just thought of that. It sounds awesome in his head. He's
on the spot. Yeah, we thought that on the spot.
We can do that.
We can make it rain outside to time in with our video game.
Yeah. I like the idea of it's not raining in the game because it's raining outside, but the other way round. Like he's made real life rain because he's decided to put it in the game. He's like controlling the
programmed real rain logic in the real world. Yeah.
You see him, he takes off his mask and it's like, hey, I'm God.
Yeah. I'm in a bad mood today, so I've put a tornado in the game. Enjoy that outside your house a bit later.
That's fun.
Yeah, madness.
Good, I'm glad he's back.
I'm glad he's back. I missed him. I didn't realise how much I missed him until I saw that headline.
A light went out of the world when you stopped making video games.
I thought something was missing in my life, and now I just realised it was Peter Molyneux this whole time.
What was the best game he's ever made?
Probably just like Fable 2.
I mean, like Black and White and the Fables were pretty good. They were weird, but
Pokemon Black and White. Yeah,
Pokemon Black and White. Yeah, he made them. Yeah.
Couple more short ones very quickly, but we'll just go through them.
Mm-hmm.
If you're still into Marvel stuff, EA Studio has announced a new Black Panther single-player third-person action adventure game, which I think
there's a lot of these getting announced, right?
Yeah, you've now from top of my head, you now have there's this Marvel's one. There's also like a 4-player co-op Captain America spy game. I think.
I don't remember that one.
I don't remember that one. There's the Wolverine game as well.
There's Wolverine. There's Spider-Man 2.
There's an Iron Man game somewhere.
Yeah, an Iron Man. There's tons of these games. Kind of just like sitting in the background now, being
it's
made.
A shame that they're hit or miss. Like so far, Spider-Man game good. Every other Marvel game so far,
I would argue that they might have actually missed the timing on these games.
Yes, I think people are just over Marvel. It's like, come on, give us the next Avengers movie. I think that's what everyone's waiting for.
I think release these games like 2 or 3 years ago, be in a way better spot. I know games take years to make, obviously, but
yeah,
it's a weird point to be in.
It is crazy how massive Marvel got with just no video game representation whatsoever.
Yeah,
basically.
There's the odd one here and there, like Spider-Man's like really good, and
they've always had video games, but like it's never been a focus, right? And they were always kind of ass.
Yeah. It Iron Man on
apart from Spider-Man, apparently Spider-Man gets a pass.
I genuinely think that's because I think Spider-Man is probably the biggest Marvel IP.
For sure, yeah. Easily.
I also think that Spider-Man, like, it harkens back to, was it like a PS2 Spider-Man game? Like the
Yes.
web slinging was really
There was a
fun, and I
bunch.
think that's
It was like one of the greatest PS2 games of all time.
yeah, so they can just like do the web slinging. Like, it's so fun just going around the cities.
Yeah. The infamous story of the developer that coded the web slinging for Spider-Man 2 on his own in the studio, like in his spare time, I think it was. He did it off hours. And that's like the only thing people remember about that game. I think it's less of a story now because I think the newer Spider-Man games do the web swinging really well, like the other ones did. But there was a period of time where I remember Spider-Man games came out, like they always do, and it was like it's just not as good as the second one, is it? The web swinging is just bad, isn't it? It's not good.
Yeah.
That was the topic every single time. But yeah, more Marvel stuff coming out, so could be interesting. We'll just have to wait and see.
I'm happy. I mean, Marvel Sons was good.
I think this looks to be a straight up like third person action adventure open world game.
I can't get excited about this because I'm like, I need to see gameplay trailers and stuff. Like,
it's too early.
It's too early, and Marvel's not solid. Like, we know it's going to be good. So
this story was more for the whole like, oh god, there's a lot of these Marvel games now coming out of just, like nowhere in the shadows.
They're out there somewhere.
They're hiding.
They get announced and then they disappear for like 20 years.
They're like scrolls, just in hiding in plain sight.
Oh, nice, good link.
So that was that one, and then another story you have here. This is about Square Enix considering potentially remastering older titles following the success of the Pixel remasters. I gave this a thought, but I thought it would be good to like maybe throw it out. Is there any like I gave it one thought, just one thought. Is there a game that anyone here is like particularly clamoring for, like a remake?
I think the big one would be Chrono Trigger, right?
That's that'd be good. That's got a PC port.
It does, but like it's not a remake. Yeah,
right. Yeah, because people love Chrono Trigger. Like
I was laughing at that. Do you see the quote under that header?
I would like to play Xenogears.
I would just like to play Xenogears, said one shareholder.
He's what prompted this whole thing.
Yeah, he generated all these new stories.
But they're considering it just because he was like, yeah, I'll play a Xenogears remake. Why not?
I would like a Final Fantasy Tactics, one of them big budget version. Like I
see these are pixel remasters.
Yeah, these are remasters.
I want War of the Lion, but I'll take any of them.
War of the Lion was fucking awesome.
It was.
That was the
so cool.
PSP one, right?
Yeah, PSP.
I played that randomly. I got my cousin's PSP. I was just borrowing it, and he had that, and I was like, "Oh, I'll play this. I know what Final Fantasy is." And I was like, "What? This game's amazing."
I want Tomb Raider 1 pixel remaster.
That doesn't make sense.
It was ever a pixel game, but I just want it.
Well, like you just want like an up-resed. That's
that not Square Enix, right?
I'm not sure who
the newer ones are for sure, but the older ones are still
make the latest Tomb Raider into a pixel remaster.
You want Tomb Raider 2014 or whatever it is?
Downgrade it, please.
Oh my god, downgrade it. What is it? 2D HD Tomb Raider.
Yeah. HD, yeah.
Hell yeah, I'd play that. Give it the Super Mario Wonder treatment to Tomb Raider. Make it all fucking weird.
Or the what was it? Dragon Quest, the latest one, 16, is it? Where it's like it's got the 3D mode, but it's also got like a 2D mode.
Oh, 11. You're thinking of
that one, 11. Yeah.
So, what does it mean? FF pixel remasters.
So
just
the final
remade 1 to 4 or whatever with that new pixel art.
Yeah, they
1 to 6.
1 to 6. They recently re-released with just I think they're new assets, right?
Didn't we all harp on that for being like kind of low effort and a bit shit?
Oh, trust me, mate. I hate them.
I think they redid them again.
The mobile ports were good, but then they just ported the mobile ports to PC and with no effort.
So 1, those were success, and 2, I guess my answer is don't touch any of my games. Then I touch War of the Line. I take it back. I don't want anything.
Wait, you didn't like the pixel remasters, Sam?
Not really.
I thought they were redone recently,
like how they felt.
and they're better now.
because to me, the whole thing is that they had these games that were on like SNES or whatever, and then they did mobile ports to these games where they completely removed the pixel graphics and they looked crap. Like honestly, the graphics looked crap, and then with these, they've gone back and fixed a couple of things and given them all back their original pixel art style, but like updated with more vibrant colors. Still keeping in line of what they were trying to go for originally, but just making it a bit more modern. And I've heard good things about them, but I'm not sure. I haven't played one yet. So.
Yeah, I haven't played them, but like Steve, I've heard that they're typically liked these days. I think.
Okay, fair enough.
I don't know if it's like if you get into like the nitty gritty, it's like they're not the same. I don't know. Like,
well, I remember reading. It was Square Enix does so many fucking remakes. I don't know what exactly one we're referencing, but I remember there was one where it was like they just smoothed out all the pixel art and it just looked naff, and we were all laughing at it.
That's what I remember. Rubbish. Yeah, I think they've been changed since then.
Okay.
Yes, I don't know that for sure. I think so.
But otherwise, to answer that question, Secret of Mana would be a good one.
Didn't they do that recently?
Didn't they get a 3D remake?
Yeah.
Oh god,
was it?
I
can't remember.
On Steam.
No, it was on Switch, wasn't it?
Secret of Mana. No, it's on Steam as well.
Secret of Mana. Save 50% in this current summer sale. Secret of Mana.
Nice.
2018 it came out. There you go.
Okay.
It's a 3D.
It looks like Maple Story 2, but if you can get past that.
Yeah. Look, again, this is like, that's a 3D remake, but like they could do like a 2D pixel remaster again, which
2018? I swear one came out sooner than that. Am I just that old?
I think you're just that old.
Fuck. Jesus Christ. Okay, last little news story. Let's move on because I'm having an existential crisis. Last little thing. This is more for me more than anything.
Oh god.
Trailer for Rashid for Street Fighter 6 dropped. He's the first DLC character coming to Street Fighter 6.
He is out 24th, I think, right?
Wow, that's fast.
It's really confusing. So if I just bring this up quickly,
Less than a month.
Yeah, Evo. If I bring up Evo. So Evo, the big yearly fighting game tournament, which takes place in Las Vegas, I think, is between the 3rd of August and the 6th of August, which is really soon. It's like 3 weeks away. Yeah. Typically, at the end of all games, top 8, so like Tekken, Street Fighter, Smash Bros, not Smash Bros, but all the other ones, they have a big reveal because they're all fighting game fans' eyes are on the finals of these games. So that's when you reveal stuff. So myself and most people were expecting this trailer to drop after Evo's Street Fighter 6 top 8. But this came out of seemingly nowhere. Not that I'm unhappy. It's a really cool trailer. And he's coming out on the 24th of July. Which again,
so he's going to be in the Evo.
So he's coming out a week and a half, I think, before Evo.
For the biggest fighting game tournament, right? Okay, yeah, that seems like a good time for it.
And everyone was like, "Okay, that's really cool. He's obviously going to be banned because he's too new."
Right? Okay.
No, he's completely legal. They've already said you can play this character, provided he's not completely fucking busted somehow, like actually broken. He is fully playable for the tournament, which is already crazy. Like this whole time frame is so bizarre for this character.
I think you're missing the most important part, though.
You're gonna say it's hot. You're gonna say he's hot or something.
He's a super hot streamer, so I fully relate to him.
Yeah, he's a YouTuber. He's a parkour YouTuber, which is kind of an interesting take on this character.
Sure.
Yeah, so fine. But the question now is that a lot of people are wondering is like, what on earth are they going to show after Street Fighter's top 8?
Buy this guy? This isn't like a hey, thanks for buying the game. Here's
you got to buy him. Yeah, he's part of the.
Seems a tad soon after the game's released to ask for more money.
It's very close. It is very close. I don't think it's great. I mean, I'm kind of biased because I have the DLC pass already, and I think he looks awesome. But I can understand the angle of like, what the fuck, this is so soon.
Well, you know,
Yeah.
if you're not happy, you can go and play your favourite Street Fighter characters in PUBG.
You can, yeah, because they're all coming to PUBG as well. That's a good link. Do you want to host, Sam? You're pretty good at this.
No.
Yeah, what Sam said. I do not have a link for that. I was not ready for this. Right, really quickly. PUBG, Street Fighter. This is really weird to me because I feel like
Was to me.
Why did they go here?
Street Fighter in Fortnite. Fine, it works.
Oh no, it's great in Fortnite because everyone just is like, look at Chun-Li's.
That's what I'm saying. Fortnite, absolutely fine. I think PUBG is a weird one. I don't want to shoot Cammy in the face with an assault rifle that looks realistic.
It's different when it's very realistic, isn't it?
It is, yeah. This is
Like, look at that poor Ryu. I don't want to shoot that guy. He looks like he's just a bad cosplayer.
He looks really sad.
He does, yeah.
I don't want to be here, man. This isn't the heart of battle at all. What the fuck is this?
That's just really weird. That's really weird.
Now that you've said bad cosplay, especially that Luke in the back right. This is bad for audio listeners. I'm sorry, but
Oh my god.
The female characters they spent a lot of time on. Male characters,
not so much.
Video game 101.
Knocked it out in an afternoon.
You have 3 months to work on Chun-Li, and you have about 3 minutes to work on Ryu.
There's more polygons in Chun-Li's thighs than there is in the whole of Ryu's model.
Yeah, that sounds outrageous time-wise, but I assure you that Chun-Li will probably sell 1,000 times more than the Ryu. So
I mean, they know where their bread's buttered, right?
They know.
Make the Chun-Li look good. The rest, it doesn't even matter.
They know what they're doing. They know what they're doing.
Yeah.
That's it for the week, though. That's all the news. We got some good stuff out of this news. I was worried it was a bit light, but we got some good stuff there. I'm happy with that. What's coming out, Steve?
I didn't look too much.
I know.
There was 2 that I did take note of, which is on the 20th, we have League of Legends new game mode.
Oh, for God's sake.
Which I'm super excited about. League of Legends is adding a 2v2v2v2 arena mode. So
Nice.
You can get the combat of League of Legends without having the downside of 4 teammates.
Now
it's like frustration squared.
No, it's so you
4
can
times as frustrated with the game.
But it's more like rather than being like, oh, my team's let me down, you can be like, my one friend is letting me down, and if they are bad, you can replace them. It's better than replacing a whole team squad.
I feel so sorry for the one teammate that has the anger normally spread across 4 people, all focused onto them singularly.
I feel so sorry for the one teammate who's, we're a 5-man stack, but wait, there's only 4. You know, we need to add one more or replace or leave one behind.
Yeah.
You know,
just one person just plays at randoms. It's fine.
Yeah, but like I'm excited because I think like with all its flaws, League of Legends is a good game. It's the community that usually ruin that game. And this means that you're playing with less people on your team, which I think means that it could be better.
I'm
going to give it a try for sure.
It's just something so funny about the angle where it's like, League of Legends is great. If only there wasn't as many people.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like I made a pact a long time ago that I would never play League of Legends again. Like, regardless of... You know, there's that scene at the end of It Chapter 1 where they all put their hands in and they swear to defeat evil if it ever comes back. I swear I did that with a few people with League of Legends at some point. Well, we solemnly swear we will never play League of Legends ever again.
Our friend group started playing TFT again, and I was just there like, no, stay true, hold.
You don't need it, Sam. You've got Atelier. You're fine.
I am fine.
And then the only other thing that's coming out, or like that's big, that I was like, just on the spot saw was on the 21st we have Pikmin 4.
Hell yeah!
Which we talked about earlier.
I'll bring up a page for it, but you all know what it looks like at this point.
Oh, I love. You know what? I want more games to do decent, lengthy demos and then be released in like 2 weeks.
Yeah, this trend of demo being the start of the game, and then by the way, the game's out in like 2-3 weeks. Absolutely,
honestly, just games having demos in general is like a new. You know, every game seems to have a demo these days, which I'm like, thank God, because you know, some games take the mick with like performance or you know, like over promising, No Man's Sky, Anthem, all the rest.
Well, to me, it's just like it's not having the demo itself; it's the demo being the start of the game. Like if Pikmin 4, Pikmin 4 is coming out and here's a demo. It's later into the game to give you a taste of what it's like. I'm not going to play that because I'm going to play this game anyway. But the fact that this game doesn't save me 2 hours, but it's it's the stuff I would have done anyway, and it's a good taste of the intro. It's really cool. I like that.
Let me ask you then, because Final Fantasy 15, I believe, did something different where they had like a demo where it was like a bit of a unique story, completely separate.
That's cool. I like that.
And then it also gave you like a carbuncle summon or something if you played it.
I remember it. Yeah, I vaguely remember this.
Would you prefer it to be like demos to be a unique thing or the start of the game?
I still think start of the game is better for me, but unique stuff is also cool. I do like. I understand why that is not the norm because it takes time to make things that are never going to get used ever again.
Mm-hmm.
But I really like that. I think anything unique is always interesting, right?
Yeah.
But I really like this trend of the start of the game being the demo because it makes sense as well, right? Because it's literally, I know you're not going to buy this probably, but it's worked on you, right? You played this and you were like, oh fuck, I kind of want to carry on.
I kind of want to carry on.
You can carry on if you buy the game. Like that's the point of the demo, right? It's worked.
Yeah.
If it was a random part of Pikmin that was just halfway through, you would be like, that was really cool. I really, I like that.
Depends on what segment,
Yeah, but it's like you don't have that, like, there's not that pull of you could just carry on if you buy the full thing.
I will say there was a lot of talking in the Pikmin demo.
That is one thing that hurts these types of demos, yeah.
Yeah.
For something like Final Fantasy 16, which is the start of the game, and it's all cutscenes, like that's fine because a big pull of that game is the story and cutscenes. But for Pikmin, maybe not so much. You might not want to sit through an hour of Pikmin cutscenes. You just want to see what the game is.
I just want to let me play the game, like the Bates game already. Like,
yeah.
These tutorial sections. Let me.
No, I totally get that. I completely get that.
Yeah.
Anything else coming out next week? We covered Atelier last week because that comes out, I think, tomorrow, which is the day before.
Friday. There's a bunch of indie stuff, but as I said, I didn't check it this week.
No, that's fine. I had a look myself, and there's so much indie stuff. Indie stuff's so hit and miss because it's like I'm not going to talk about that because it looks naff, and then it's just Game of the Year, and you can't tell.
David Diver.
Yeah, like David Diver looks like shit. I'm not going to talk about that, and it's just amazing. So like, who knows, basically. Okay, well let's wrap this up then. Thank you for listening, everybody. Thank you for hanging out with us. We're gonna do our socials and just get out of here and get some sleep. My name is Josh. You can find me at BottlerWorks on everything. How about you, Will?
Hello. You know where to find me.
And Steve?
I am Steve, and you can find me at olivemeister.t, twitch.tv.
Nice. And Sam?
Yeah. Good luck. You'll need it.
All right. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Goodbye.